Hello everyone, this is a Steven Universe episode review for Season 5, Episode 6, otherwise known as Gemcation, slightly following up immediately after last episode of Dewey Wins, where Connie kind of just leaves Steven and is not talking to him for quite a bit. Steven is pretty worried, and that's basically what happens throughout the episode. Steven is just... He's like an actual teenager now. He's just glued to his phone non-stop, and his dad kind of recognizes that, or, well, I wouldn't say he recognizes that. Well, no, he does. He mostly just says, you know what, let's just have, like, some family time, because you're all stressed out from the space thing and all that stuff of, like, being on trial and all that stuff, so let's just get out of town. There's this fancy cabin somewhere near Beach City, and we can just spend some time together, you know, with the gems, all that stuff. Family time. Hoorah! Board games ready and everything. So they go out there to the log cabin or whatever, and they just basically spend some time. But Steven, as I said, he's just glued to his phone. He's just refreshing. He's just sending text after text. He's just waiting and waiting and waiting to get a text or phone call or just something from Connie to see what she has to say, because he's saying like, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up, come talk to me. He tried to add some jokes here and there that he thought were stupid, but he sent them anyway. Please talk to me, I screwed up, I'm dumb, so on and so on, but not a single text. And this has been happening for, I think, within the span of this episode and then Mayor Dewey's within a day, maybe 3 days at best. So yeah, it's just nonstop. But kind of the running gag within this episode is that he does get texts throughout the episode, but they're not from Connie, and they're from Ronaldo saying like, dude, have you been watching this series that I sent you a few days ago or a few months ago? You haven't returned it back, but I think why is because you're a big fan of it and things like that. And it's like, no, I haven't been watching it. And so Steven's got to be dealing with that, more or less. And throughout the episode, Greg kind of notices that Steven isn't exactly acting like himself. He's just not really talking or even paying attention to anything around him besides his eyes being locked on his phone and text messages. So Greg tries to send Amethyst to talk him over, or will like say what's wrong. Nothing. Garnet tries to do the same thing, or says like, oh, I know why you're upset. It all started millions of years ago with white diamonds. Like, yeah, I don't care. I know this already. Oh, you do? Oh, okay. I don't know what's upset with him, Greg. And then the most interesting one was being Pearl, because when she tried to talk about it, she was kind of straightforward. It was like, alright, just tell me what's wrong, things like that. And Steven finally lets it out, and I think Pearl was about to say something. She was kind of like gonna pull a guard saying like, oh, I know why you're upset. It's because of these gems. But what she was about to say about Homeworld, if I'm right, it's like she couldn't say. And it's not like she was afraid to say it or anything. It looks like she was full-heartedly ready to say whatever was about to come out of her mouth, but it's like she just couldn't control herself stopping. You see like her hand go over her mouth each time she's about to say that, as if like she's not allowed to say that, like literally not allowed to say it at all, or like she'll blow up or something. So I don't know what that's about. I know there's a few theories slightly roaming around right now saying like, oh, is Pearl programmed not to say all this stuff as a Pearl and things like that? She's gonna self-destruct. Ah! So yeah, that's something for sure, but you know, you guys could probably come up with like better theories than I could. So yeah, and I did find it funny by the slightly end of the episode where, you know, what was it? Steven kind of like lets out all of his emotions, like, man, Connie just freaking hates me and things like that, and just runs off. And Greg says like, okay, well, you know, it's not entirely your fault. I can, you know, you're not entirely to blame here, if anything. And Steven tells Greg about all the texts, and Greg just says, you know, we don't have any, like, cell service out here, so your texts have not been going through. And Steven's like, what are you trying to tell me? So they go to this really high place, like, not really high place, but just to a cliff, basically, to get some bars on the phone. And he gets the 4G connected, and he sees a text message pop up, and it's just from Ronaldo again. It's Ronaldo just doing his stupid shit. And Steven's pretty bummed out about it, but hey, at least the night sky's looking pretty good. You got some family time to look forward to. So yeah, it was a pretty fun episode. Like, you actually haven't seen Steven this mad or this different, I want to say, since, what was it? Since Full Disclosure, the first episode of season 2. And weirdly enough, that had to do with him and his phone, not specifically his phone, but him and Connie basically just not talking. And that time it was Steven not talking to Connie. This time it's Connie not talking to Steven. And it's weird how, like, them not talking to each other just really screws with one another. It's really interesting, honestly. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode review. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have any questions, comments, concerns, or any other discussion topics you guys want me to talk about. I'll try to answer them best I can. Want to draw any founder for the channel? Greatly appreciate it. Email, Twitter, all that below. Patreon, also in that area. And everything else you know what to do. Have a great day, great night. Goodbye.